I have a very clear memory of playing TimeSplitters Future Perfect for hours and hours over one rainy Easter weekend back in 2005. I was 13, I had a generous supply of chocolate eggs, a tiny CRT TV, and most importantly, no responsibilities whatsoever. It's one of those blissful memories that if you grew up playing games, will be permanently etched in your mind. Life was good. Now look at me. When I was growing up, I played TimeSplitters 2 and Future Perfect on an almost constant basis with my mates, enjoying its mad split-screen multiplayer and trying to get every challenge mode medal. But it's been 16 long years since the last TimeSplitters game, and shooting games in particular have changed pretty dramatically since then. So how well does TimeSplitters hold up in 2021? Nowadays, it's surprisingly difficult to actually find a way to play them if you don't have access to the original consoles. The only TimeSplitters game to get any kind of a modern remaster is TimeSplitters 2, whose story mode can be found hidden away on an arcade cabinet in Homefront: The Revolution. They don't even appear on Xbox's list of backwards compatible games. There's also the fan-produced TimeSplitters Rewind project, but that is still some way off from completion. Back in May, Deep Silver announced the reformation of Free Radical Design, creators of the original TimeSplitters Trilogy, to be led by original co-founders Steve Ellis and David Doak, who have just a little bit of experience creating great shooter games. And Haze. Not only that, but Free Radical's first task is a new entry to the beloved TimeSplitters franchise. Brilliant, I thought. With E3 around the corner, surely a remaster trilogy is on the cards, but sadly, E3 came and went with nary a monkey in sight, so I just got to sit here twiddling my thumbs, right? I mean, what am I going to do? Borrow my partner's dad's old PS2, which only has one half-working third-party controller, buy an HDMI adapter so it works with the only TVs that I've got, and try and scrounge up copies of the games from whatever second-hand shops have them locally? Yeah. Before I relive my childhood, here's a little history lesson to get everyone up to speed. TimeSplitters was released exclusively for PlayStation 2 way back in the year 2000, and if that makes you feel old, don't worry, because the game feels even older. Unlike later entries, TimeSplitters story mode is a bare-bones trudge through boilerplate levels to retrieve a key followed by a mad dash back the way you came. As for multiplayer, it's the usual selection of modes and maps and shares the single player's chaotic N64 shooter feel, and rounding out the feature set is a map maker and a challenge mode that only unlocks upon completing the story mode. I never had a PS2 growing up, and the world isn't exactly conducive to split-screen gaming right now, so it's hard to really get a sense for how it would have been at launch. According to the box, revered gaming magazine Edge claimed it was the game worth buying a PlayStation 2 for, so it must have been pretty good, but having grown up playing the sequels, to me it all feels a little bit first draft. It does at least set the tone for the series. I mean, where else can you shoot gingerbread men, ducks and Elvis impersonators in the same game? But even if you love the first game, I think it's fair to say that TimeSplitters 2 is where Free Radical really hit their stride. TimeSplitters 2 featured a proper story mode across a variety of sprawling levels with extra objectives or complications appearing depending on difficulty level, much like GoldenEye and Perfect Dark. The location and time-hopping story took in settings as varied as Notre Dame, Siberia, alien planets, and a rainy Neo-Tokyo, all the way in the distant future of 2019. Along the way, you'll face off against soldiers, zombies, robots, the titular TimeSplitters themselves, and, perhaps most nefarious of all, this spiral staircase that for some reason gave me such intense motion sickness that I had to go for a lie down. Stairs aside, it's astonishing how well it holds up in 2021, and how much variety is crammed into every single level. The opening mission alone sees you infiltrate a compound, sneak through the interior, investigate a mysterious digging site, uncover cells full of zombies and mutants, fight your way back out as special forces arrive, and destroy a helicopter from some kind of bridge. I mean, damn. It is an absolute treat, featuring the kind of creative, open-ended design that is sorely missing from so many single-player campaigns in modern first-person shooters. And then there's the multiplayer. Oh man, the multiplayer. There's 2 variants of arcade mode, with the Arcade League challenging you to preset scenarios, each with their own absurd lawlets, as if you need them, and then the endless toy box fun of Arcade Custom. It is chaotic, messy, uncomplicated fun, with a wealth of customizable options, characters, maps, weapons, and if all that isn't enough, the map maker returns to let you create your own levels once you're bored of the usual lot. It's a feature set that puts modern games to shame, topped off with the improved challenge mode that sees you beheading undead, smashing windows with bricks, or sneaking past cameras to earn medals. Expect this to return with a vengeance and online leaderboards in any future TimeSplitters game. If you're anything like me, it's no surprise that TimeSplitters 2 became a staple of your multiplayer gaming back in the early noughties. TimeSplitters Future Perfect, the 3rd game in the series, shifts the balance of its single-player campaign to lose some of the sandbox feel in favour of some Halo-esque bombast, as well as adding a more developed but incredibly cheesy story into the mix. It certainly makes more of its larger-than-life characters, though whether that's a good thing is debatable. Some of the character designs have aged poorly, and some are just plain annoying.
Are you sure, Bean? This whole area's about to be bombed to Kingdom Come!
I mean, what is that accent supposed to be? With those caveats aside, it's still an enjoyable romp, if not quite as freeform as its predecessor. Challenge mode returns, complete with remote-controlled cat racing, obviously, and the multiplayer offers more characters to choose from, a few bigger maps, an expanded map maker. It's basically everything you'd expect from a sequel to TimeSplitters 2. Much the same, but much more of it.
Killing spree!
Playing these games again in 2021, it's interesting to think where a remaster or a sequel would sit in the pantheon of modern-day first-person shooters. I mean, in retrospect, I'm kind of glad we skipped a few generations. We probably missed out on a misjudged, grim reboot in the 360 generation where everything's grey and brown. And we've probably avoided a shoehorned TimeSplitters Battle Royale mode too. Actually, that does sound pretty good. I mean, I'd be rubbish at it. The trilogy also feels like a kind of window into a lost era of gaming. There are 150 characters in Future Perfect's multiplayer. If it was released now, how many do you think would be locked behind DLC, season passes, or pre-order bonuses? There's no XP grind, no time-limited events, seasonal tie-ins, or pay-to-win weapons. Excuse the nostalgia, but they're like a peek into the innocent halcyon days of console gaming that are probably never coming back. The other side of that coin is that they come from a kind of bygone era of console gaming before online multiplayer really took hold, and to me that's kind of a crucial part of their charm. In my head, the TimeSplitters games are always going to be split-screen, couch co-op party games. They're games that deserve to be played with your mates in easy reach for high-fiving. Or punching. If the new TimeSplitters game can capture the tone, the character, and the chaos of the originals, it will feel like a total outlier in modern shooters. Too many games are drab and serious. Too many multiplayer games ask you to dedicate an inordinate amount of time to them if you want to stay competitive. If a TimeSplitters sequel is to stay true to the originals, it needs to carry on in that spirit and just focus on giving players a good time. Not enough games lean into uncomplicated fun or the chance to be downright silly. Not enough games capture that feeling when you're 13, you've got tons of chocolate, and not a care in the world.
Killing frenzy!
I'm sure I'm not the only one looking forward to the next TimeSplitters game, so let me know in the comments down below what you would like to see. In the meantime, if you've enjoyed the video, drop us a like, and if you want to see more content like this, hit subscribe. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.